But 2 more minutes naman. Yes, hello recording. So, for those watching this, I just went through our agenda, super chill. And in the doc, for your reference, if you're like, OMG, I do not know what to put, here are some good starting points. Talk about like your learning process, because I'm more interested in the process of your creation than like the product. What How you grew as a person is more important to me than what you came up with, and for other people too. And then like your identity, like who were you before camp and who are you like now. I wonder like how much you've like grown these past few months. Of course, like tell us here about the behind the scenes about your project, so on and so forth. Just some tips. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. This is a safe space, and the more open you are, the more we can help you. We are not competing. We are just here for vibes. Just to clarify, yeah. And please, if you're, it would help if you can specify specific parts of your project. If you like feedback on like, oh, I'm not sure how I can execute this part. I need more references for this part. If you guys would know any, I would love that. So on and so forth. Yes. But again, I pasted the link in our gather chat for reference. Alright, it is 8:15. I will randomly, I will go by whatever is first put here. So Chloe, you are lucky presenter. Number 1. Are you up? Are you up for challenge? Hello?
She's still connecting.
Okay. But while I am waiting for her to connect, let me just read more about her project. Thank you. Very well put it. So Chloe's project is called Circular on Philippine sustainable fashion. In the long run, I hope to make Circular a platform to talk about energy sustainability, Uber blog, and database related to sustainability in the PH. Right now, she wants to, yes, I'm talking about you, Chloe. Right now, she wants to kick off a database on sustainable fashion in the Philippines with an understanding of actual sustainability. Definitely not greenwashing, which I will share here. Interesting intro, so take it away. Chloe, you do have like anything? You can share your screen. 3%. And yes, Z loves the title. I do it too. Very very funny. I like to play on words. You're still connecting for me. You want me to go to the next person muna while we're waiting for you? Jake is ready already. Yeah, I can tell. Okay, so technical difficulties. Sorry, I'm going to introduce Jake first. So basically, Jake is making a Philippine tourism branding tool kit. He envisions it as a guide for LGU tourism officers in creating and redesigning their branding. So I'm excited to see how he envisioned this. Share your screen na, Jake. Take it away.
Hi guys, good evening. So today I'll be presenting my Developh Camp project. Let me just share my screen. Since Bianca mentioned the process, so I wanted to talk a little bit about it first before the actual thing. So what really got me thinking about it would be this like sample, like unofficial branding for the province of Laguna. Wait. I included the output too. So quickly lang. It's basically like unofficial Laguna branding. So they came up with like a mood board and the sketches, and eventually like this is the final product, like logo, which they explained it pretty well. It's a combination of the banig and the shape of Laguna Lake, and then it can be used to house other icons and even like photos. So yeah, that really got me thinking like, how can how can I like contribute to this kind of stuff, like make a thing talaga. Excuse me. And then it also reminded me of how like I was looking through like the official websites for the towns in my mom's home province, Batangas. When I checked out the one for Tanawan, which is near where we live, it was so like it was like it was really bad aesthetically speaking. Like some of the website features didn't work. The logos were low res. Yeah, so I really felt like if we want to drive tourism and just general buzz about towns in the Philippines, I think the best way to do it would be to improve the branding first, since branding is basically the face of your business, or in this case, town. So yeah, and this is what I came up with. It's just simple. I used Notion to make it, and then I used another site to export it into a website. So this is what it looks like. Just a quick intro, welcome, and then just some rationale, like why do branding and how do I start. And then stakeholders involved, because branding always involves good branding always involves research at the beginning. So I included so the private sector, tourism, government, culture groups, and the public. And then for questions to ask when crafting your branding, so this is like a template of sorts. I put sub questions in each, like who are you trying to reach? So what's the demographic? What platforms are you going to use? What appeals to your target tourists? Other things like what heritage sites are present? What are the things to do there? So it's really meant to be like a simple guide. Bianca mentioned it well. It's a microsite, and yeah, it's meant to be like this quick reference guide that LGU tourism officers can come back to. So I really wanted to avoid making it this wordy, like dense textbook kind of thing. I wanted it to be something very accessible. And then for case studies, I mentioned already the Laguna one. I got it off of Facebook, obviously credited properly, and I made analyses of it. So like underneath each slide, I sort of broke it down and to give some of my perspective to as a marketing major in college and a current Philippine Studies major in grad school. So it's something I'm really passionate about, the topic, branding design and Philippine culture. As for this branding this is like my sample output too, based on what happened with with what I saw for the Laguna unofficial branding. So I tried to make one for the city near my mom's hometown, so that's Lipa. So these are the slides. I used the like official title or subtitle as the Little Rome of the Philippines because of its religious sites. This is the existing seal, and then this is the logo that I came up with. And then for the typeface, I wanted something that was like modern looking, but also it conveys like Batangueños have this word for their coffee and also the personality. It's called barako, meaning like really macho, masculine. So I wanted to keep it like that, but at the same time modern and refreshing. And something to contrast with the thick font would be like this. It gives like a sense of antiquity, since there are a lot of historic sites. But yeah, at the same time, I wanted it to feel a bit less. It gives antiquity and vintage vibes, but at the same time, I didn't want it to look so. I didn't want it to look so outdated. So yeah, and then for the logo meaning, if you rotate them and put them together, it's a coffee bean, because Lipa was a hot spot for coffee production in the 1800s. Fun fact: in 1838, there was a boom for coffee in Lipa because all the other coffee farms in the world were infected with a pest. So for a brief time, Lipa was the sole supplier of coffee in the entire world through the galleon trade. And I also wanted the logo to look like hands exchanging with each other, because the existing seal had virtud y trabajo, so virtue and hard work. And so yeah, it's exchange, and it's also a reference to the original seal. And then I wanted yellow for something for warmth, vitality, and energy, but at the same time brown to reference coffee, and also like stability, earthiness, and like, parajo again, masculinity. So yeah, that is everything. And in terms of feedback, I wanted to ask like what other resources I can put, or how do I make it more more value adding to LGU tourism officers. So yeah, that's what I wanted to like pose as a prompt. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for listening.
Yay! Give a warm round of applause for Jake's project. I just love how I can see. You've always been so passionate about heritage and culture, and just like seeing this like object, your intersection, like your design interest too, and it's like so like straightforward. Like, being concise is like already like a good trait to have in of itself. So yeah. Any questions from the fellows? I'm particularly interested in hearing like Z, because he has a very similar project to this, also on heritage.
LGU. So I'm like thinking how I might be helpful since you're looking at LGU. But I think I don't have a question. It's more of I love the coffee concept, that it hits on value, and also it's so I can't think of a better word, but for the lack of better word, no-brainer. Na you think of coffee, but at the same time, it's so connected to the value, the very Filipino. And I love that. I love them, my fun fact also. I love those. Ang ganda, Jake. I hope you do more, and yeah, continue like sharing it to us. I don't know lang, maybe I have friends who are working na LGU level, because I don't know also what they're looking for. Or actually, if you're interested, baka I have a friend who used to work sa DOT before. Sila yun they're kind of big in branding. And I think that your project will really help them. So, but not LGU specific. So maybe if you need contacts sa DOT, like I could message you siguro. But my friend doesn't work there anymore, so I don't know if it's valuable.
Thank you. Anyone else who wants to like maybe like ask questions or like share feedback? Chika loud ang basa while I am waiting. Again, I love this. Yay! Chloe can hear me. I think one suggestion I have is, since a lot of your case studies, they involve like pitch decks, right? And a lot of branding is usually presented through pitching. I wonder if like maybe you could provide a template na LGU officers could use. Na all you have to do is just fill in the info, put in like the graphics, like you make it like look pretty for them already. It saves them like a lot of time versus like having to make their own from scratch. Yeah. And I wonder if, I'm not sure if this would like make it like too objective, but I wonder if like criteria could be provided, like what makes a good mood board, like and like the ethics too, right, of branding, like for instance, how could you avoid cultural appropriation, touchy topics like that. I think that would be really helpful to include in the Philippine tourism branding too. But also like maybe modules like, how can you not be like too much Filipino, like too obvious about it? But there's a fine line to balance between like being like proud Filipino and like just being over If that makes sense, at least in my opinion. Yeah, but the fact is, it's like the bare bones pa lang. I'm excited to see like how this will if this was like fully like fleshed out, what would it look like for you, Jake?
Well, I do like your suggestion of modules, like just videos and like a prompt that like LGU tourism officers can look at as a template for a pitch deck. And I guess one thing to do would also be like questions to answer, like parang may essay, parang mini essay that like so they can like sort of brainstorm. Guide questions for valid KFC. Oh, okay. Yeah, that. I really do appreciate that. I think that's a good thing to add.
Read it out loud. Lennon suggested guide questions for branding might also help. That's what I like about like those little like parang oracle or like trading cards. It's been like very in the trendy lately. Like it seems like everyone's making them. Rachel's the grassroots nonprofit she was volunteering for, local lab, they recently released this like deck on sustainable islands, and I feel like it's very inspiring. It gives people like ideas of how like sustainable islands look like. I will send the link in the chat. Yeah, like. And yeah, I also like use tarot to as like parang, how do I say this, prompts for like creativity, like not just like a spiritual reflections. I wonder if like something similar can be like done here. Yes, anyone else who has feedback? None.
I thought the patterns were really cute. The ones that you made.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. I liked how I felt like there was also like a touch of your own style in there, you know, because I feel like the coffee bean that you did, and then the other. I'm not really sure what you call it, but the other blue design, like they mesh well together. And I just think that it speaks to your own style.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's one of the best traits to have as a creator. Like when someone sees something, you really can tell like, oh, it's something Jake made, it's something Bianca made. So yeah, be proud of that. I will read Sammy's comment. Personally, I think the project overall is such a great idea. Personally, design isn't something I normally think of when people say tourism, but in reality, it can affect how people interact with the place they're visiting. Yes, so true. User experience is everywhere, from how you, especially in how you experience a place, the way that the tour guides talk to you, like the books you're interacting with. It can all be designed, and it's so cool to like see in a toolkit like this. Does no one have any comments to share? In 3, 2, 1. All right, thank you, Chloe. Are you okay? Nah, like you can hear me, right? Do you think you can present?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yay! Okay. Hi, can you see me also? I'm so sorry, my internet's so bad.
No need to apologize.
Yeah, no, actually, like, it's annoying because like a while ago it was my friend's place na bad yung internet. Now it's my place. So like we're thinking that there's a rotation lang of the places that they add bad internet on. Anyway, yeah. Okay, yeah. So should I just present mine? Bianca, can you go to my page since you're doing shipping now?
Wait lang. Let me. Yes. Okay. You share your screen. Are you sharing your screen?
Oh wait, I'll share na lang. Hold on, sorry. I lost mine. Oh.
So let me again reintroduce Chloe's project. So the title of this project is Circular Peak Sustainable Fashion. In the long run, she wants to make Circular a platform to talk about sustainability with a blog and database related to Philippine sustainability. So right now, how she's starting it off is a database on sustainable fashion in the Philippines with an understanding of actual sustainability. So I'm curious to see what this understanding looks like.
Okay. Hi. Sorry, wait. I don't know how to share my screen yet. It's at the bottom, right?
Yeah, the
Okay.
bottom, the one near your profile, yung desktop.
Okay, now I see it. Wait, let me make sure I'm on the correct screen. Okay, here. Can you see my Notion? Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sharing content. Yay! Okay, so yeah, so basically like what's spread over there, like I plan to kind in this sense, I kind of think of this as a good jumpstart into how like I envision this to be like a long-term passion project for me. Like I have a very personal relationship with sustainability in a sense that it's something that I really try to advocate for, but it's something that I'm still really learning about, and it's something that I really want to pursue in the long run. So I feel like the talking with the people in Developh and like like shaping and learning more about what I want to do with the things that I know like really made me and pushed me to like think of this as a project that I want to pursue in the long run. But right now it's still very very bare bones. Honestly, mostly because of the fact that I'm learning so much as I go. Like honestly, like when I first came in, like was thinking that okay, I want to do something that related to sustainability. Then I thought I wanted to do something that related to sustainable fashion. It's so much learning and iterations on it. Like honestly, on the first thing that I wanted to do was just to like do something na compilation of on a database lang of different information on it, and then I tried to narrow it down more and just tried to learn more and more about it. But anyway, wait, I'm trying to look. I don't know if I'm sharing the correct screen. Okay, so
Your Notion, right? We can see your
Yeah.
Notion right now.
yeah, kasi I have two Notions open and like I don't want the other one to be seen. But anyway, yeah, so like on the question of why this project, again, like I have a very personal relationship with sustainability, and it's something that I really want to try to practice and something that I want to advocate for, especially through education and like talking with different people. And like why sustainable fashion in itself, it's because I basically love shopping, and like I'm a slave to my expenses, and like I've been trying to build a more conscious relationship with me and like the different things that I want to purchase and all that, which is why I feel like it's a culmination of the different interests that I have. In a sense, it's me trying to put my own love for creation, and like trying to share what I want to learn with different people, and yeah, something that I really want to try to advocate for. Right now, I'm honestly just super in the process, like on it, because like I thought that over here, right, you can see like this process over here of like what I wanted it to pan out, which I did naman. But like when I was trying to build the database and like I was trying to read more and more about it, there are so many iterations that I had to do. Like and like yung first, parang what I wanted to build was a directory, but then naisip ko na what if it just becomes an underwhelming na directory? Like, what really separates it? Tapos, ayun, parang, like, I even questioned, like, the first thing talaga na I tried to ask was, what is even sustainable fashion? Kasi, like, from the different things that I tried to read, parang, I don't see, like, parang a lot of linear things between it. Kaya parang I'm still trying to, like, try to delve deeper into it and learn more about it. So, like, ayun, parang I came from first just trying to compile it to like trying to personally try to understand more about sustainability talaga. Kasi like from what I noticed kasi talaga, na probably is one of the problems na like I wanna try to tackle is how like a lot of different stores, I guess, can use like the term na they're sustainable just to get people to buy it. But like when you honestly open their page, like there's honestly not a lot of information about their process as to like what really makes them sustainable. So like I feel like something that people should dive deeper more. Tapos like I sent one project right in like the in one channel, and like I was thinking now this is what I wanna do. Pero I feel like I want to filter it down more. Kasi I feel like dun sa different types of sustainable fashion, like, I don't think na a lot of them, like, really qualify for what should be sustainable fashion. And that definition is something that I'm still trying to ponder on, which is probably, ayun, parang it's the one of my challenges right now. So, like, if the question is, like, on what were my different challenges while trying to think about it, it's na, well, first, there's the fact that, like, it's a personal project, right? So I really want to try to, like, implement a way that there's more peer review on it, because honestly, I don't trust myself yet that much about it, and, like, want to talk about it more and still want to learn more about it. And, like, yun nga, like, as I learn more about it, I'm really debating on a lot of stuff between myself. Like, for example, should I classify this type of thing as sustainable fashion when it just satisfies like 2 out of 3 of these hallmark criteria and all that. And like and another question is like, for example, if something is Filipino branded or like is it textile, is that immediately sustainable fashion, especially in Philippines? Because like other places or like other businesses will already qualify that as sustainable fashion. So like still in that process of trying to define it. And like yeah, like if you see over here in this page, like with some places on highlight, like I already have some sustainable fashion brands na like na I compiled, but like from this initial one, why is it not scrolling? Okay, from this initial one,
Do you
parang
want to share us the link, or like are you too shy to share it at the moment?
Oh, I'm not. It's fine, but like, pardon if I have like side comments and all that.
Oh, it's okay. It's nice seeing project at part of the process. So yes, everyone, check out the gather link there.
Yeah, and then like over here, I'm so sorry if like you bought from like some brands here, but like I added just a shady tag. Or yeah, like I'm still like from this one, like I thought na. Like, this was the first thing that I had in mind. I just basically compiled everything and, like, tried to read through the different about me pages nila. And, like, tried to see if, like, good yung process nila. If, like, they actually provide more information. So, like, it's me trying to narrow it down. So, yeah, I'm still in the process of reviewing more and more. But the thing is, parang, after I compiled this, I'm so sorry. After I compiled this, I discovered more about the different types of sustainable fashion, and like some of the things that I put into shady qualify into those different types. So parang I'm really still trying to debate within myself with like what's the true definition of it, and like I'm still trying to learn more and more about it. Yeah, like if you scroll down, there's more and more over there. And yeah, so basically that's honestly where I'm at right now. Like probably next steps for me right now, or again trying to solidify what I think. But okay, wait, sorry. And like probably bare bones of what I want this to look like is something that like this, which is obviously still empty, but like a small bit like probably this type of database with a directory and like different information and different types along, and like the ones over here will have been already be the ones that are curated from the original compilation. So yeah, it's still very, very work in progress, but like I'm really excited to learn more about it as I go. So yeah, that's me. Thank you for
Thank
listening.
you. This is insane. Like I can like tell like you put like a lot of your brain cells into this and it's so cool to see. I can't wait to like really delve into it more like later. But and even though it's like really busy right now, like like it's understandable. But yeah, seeing you notice every day. Love that for you. So does anyone have like questions or feedback so far? I'm particularly interested in hearing like from one of our guests here, Camille, because she told me that she is looking for resources on the ukay industry and she likes the content. I wonder if it's like your new venture or something. Also,
Yeah.
Cam's like did like a she did have like a sustainable business last year. I bought a menstrual cup from her, so may alam din siya dito.
Thanks, Bianx. Yeah. Hi, guys. So I'm not actually part of the camp, but I just dropped by. So it's great. I've been looking at all your actually everyone showcase, so it's really nice. Good job, everyone. But yeah, on Chloe's, I definitely it caught my eye because right, I'm also into sustainability, and I do believe that some several sustainable fashion brands, especially in the Philippines, really has been, you know, well, in a way, greenwashing at the same time, like basically overpricing their their things in the context of being sustainable, quote unquote. So yeah, definitely, I love the content that you have so far. So I did message you privately, so do feel free to if you're available by next week, do give me a chat. I'd love to hear more about your story and maybe help you realize your vision.
Ooh,
Thanks,
the
yeah.
new business. I see, I see. What happened to Dahan, by the way, Cams? Like, was that like a pop-up thing? Lang?
Yeah, no, we're still working on it. We're still experimenting a lot on our brand, right?
What have you
Right now we're
learned
still
from your experience? Oh, my bad. You can go ahead. Yes.
uh, it's more about really. I feel like, well, especially in the menstrual sustainability side, it's really all about community. Which is definitely something that you'll need to penetrate even deeper than. Oh, yeah. Even like it's a little harder to penetrate than the usual, retail market. But yeah, definitely. I'd love to talk to you about that also and get more insights on you, Chloe, about it. I'd love to talk about sustainability, sustainable fashion. Yay!
Yay, thank you. Um, for on my end, if you're planning to like parang distribute all like your brain dump in the future, I wonder if you could do like a parang mini like microsite. If you wanna go all out, you could do like something like this. And on my screen right now, I am showing like a report na this company called WeTransfer did. So every year they do this. They do like report on the Gen Z and stuff. And like it's super nice UX. Pa. I know other brands do this like WGSN. For instance, like they always have these trends reports. Yeah. But yeah, it's super nice. But this is like the website is like a summary of like the full report, which I assume is like a whole ass like PDF because people are more used to or you could just like link this to parang like a digital garden like database like your Notion here because unfortunately in this attention economy right now people do not read that much. Only a certain type of people read. So like the more you're able to like design the experience of like presenting this really well thought research of yours, because of course you want it to reach the other people's minds. The better. That's just for me. Yes. Yes. Anyone else? Like maybe maybe Jazz, Rachel, because I know you guys also are into sustainability, regeneration kind of topics. I would love to hear what you think about this. Hello, hindi pakigalaw ng baso. Or you can just type in the, in the chat. Yeah. Oh yeah, Z, I know. I also know, like, since your project, you're like parang making modules of this, and I wonder like what you could advise for like code. Like, how could you like package like this like research is something that people can consume.
I want to share lang to Chloe na I feel you. That was my mini thesis before because I took up sustainability. And then when we really delved into brands and all the ISO, all the things, kasi these are also new eh. Parang all these, what makes a brand sustainable came into place when, the Paris Climate Agreement happened in the 90s and all of that. So it's really changing and evolving every year and it gets complicated. So when we were looking at businesses, sobrang nalulunod kami. Ganon yung feeling kasi so I totally understand. Pero I don't know then if this would be something helpful. So this is something that I wish I learned when I was still doing my mini thesis on looking at sustainable brands here in the Philippines. Because sustainability is also something really, really close to heart. As someone Montenegro and like super love nature. I'll try to share my screen. Oh wow, paano ba to? Ayun. So let me know if you can see it. It's a map. I don't know if it can be seen.
Yep, we can see it. Ooh, Miro. I'll wait for everything to load. I wish it was like a really, really big map.
Yeah, so let me know if it can be seen. Pero parang when we do case studies, so what I do now, kasi I do consultancy work with firms, ito yung parang one of our first step into studying something that's overwhelming, like sustainability. So maybe, like if you're looking at sustainability, like who's already the players in the industry that you want to study, like because I know you're making a database, right? So parang the first are the academia, social sector, private sector, who are the existing social enterprises like R2R, Muni, APC. And then you can also like have mga public sector who are the people trying to push for these initiatives forward, who are the designers, who are the weavers, and who among the Philippine market are the ones supplying brands online, because there's also that segment. And there's also like the research centers like AIS or Ateneo Institute of Sustainability is also there. And then there's some personalities, I think more visible online, like sina Shaira Luna. And then from there, I think if you'd like to explore, I can share this map with you. And if you find it helpful that's okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it would definitely be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Also, I'm sure you've already seen this, but I think you get a lot of inspo from what And the Half did for their conference last year on like social problems or design problems. Tapos they made this like whole ass deck on Filipino circularity. Like there's like context pa, identity, and then gives like really good resources to. It just has so much context, and I feel like your this could be a form na your project could take also like this like little like I love the way they made this directory here. Pero siya, maybe you could like make this like digitally instead. I just love how everything is like all in one place. Yeah, I will send the links to chat also for everyone to look through. So cool. But that is all from me. Does anyone else have feedback to share? Kahit through chat lang if like your Wi-Fi is bad. I'd just love to hear from you. Then I'll read out. None? If not, we will go to the next. So, we have these projects. So, this is Filipinas Journal. A reminder of indigenous craftsmanship and wisdom. So, this is a project under her school, the School of Deliberate Futures. Exciting, exciting. Can't wait for you to present. Let's go. We will send the link of the ear maps in for reference. Oh, you're muted by the way. If you try not to be muted. Yeah.
Just looking for the screen share again. Sorry in advance. I'm a tech lola.
It's okay. Felt.
Okay. I think I did it.
Yes, we can see your screen right now.
Alright. So, I guess the beginning really of this is I've taught in public schools and then I've also taught in private schools na mga bata. So, I taught mga ages, mga 5-year-olds, all the way to teenage, and I also tutored undergrads before. But when I tutored undergrads before, it was different. It was just math. But with the kids kasi, I taught them project-based learning. So we're learning about sustainability, we're learning about how to be financially independent as a kid, and like all of these interesting things. So in my experience, I saw how there's a difference between teaching kids from public schools where my siblings are from. So I'm not really a stranger to it. They gave me I learned it from them. I also saw it from the kids I taught na we try to hype them up to build bigger dreams. And then on the other hand, pag private school kids naman, usually the manner of teaching is you teach them to learn how to be humble or give more to others. So, but there, from my experience teaching in the past years until now, but on the side, and it has evolved so much. So I don't teach kids anymore. Usually teach mga professionals now in my workshops. The common denominator is when you ask them, so who do you look up to, who's your role model, they would give you a foreign name. So, it ranges from a Disney character. So, parang, gusto ko maging si Cinderella. Or, PewDiePie. I don't know if I pronounce it right. So, I learned those, like, names from them. And they would give me YouTube names that I don't know, but I learned from them. And I love learning from all types and all kinds of people. So, maybe I've only heard very few, but in the number, maybe hundreds of kids, I asked that question, who do you look up to? If it's not their parents or it's not someone they know personally, they're gonna give you a foreign name. And then that's when I realized na, wow, and it's connected to more things. So that those are the kids' aspect. My second story is, so we want to talk more about the process, right? When I run these workshops naman for mga usually university students until mga 40 years old, since I run open workshops with SOD. So it's my pandemic baby. Because that's my long-term dream. I'm gonna talk about it later. I want it to be a non-profit school. But of course, that takes a lot of resources, needs a team. Like honestly, I'm just alone with SOD now. But what I wanted to be in the future really needs a team or a barangay of people. I try to incorporate things as local as possible. So that's my teaching style, because in teaching, context is so important for it to be retained in the memory of people and in order for it to be used by people. So, natutunan ko na, because I'm also very passionate about sustainability, I'm passionate about so many things, na-realize ko na it's so hard for people to learn how to care about something, nor learn how to love something if they don't know something about it. And from minsan nakita ko, even to me personally, I learned about Greek mythology first before loving and learning about Philippine mythology. I learned about snow, four season, and everything Western way back before I learned about we have a pink beach. We have so many amazing wildlife and flora and fauna that I only learned when I was in college. Onwards. Minsan nga after college pa, it was so crazy. So I incorporate them in my workshops. And then another thing flew, and it was not just one, two participants, but more than 10 participants told me na, grabe Z, alam mo ba, when I was a kid, I used to be so much better in our language, but I have forgotten about it. And I was like, you know what, you're not alone, I'm like that. So when I was a kid, I used to write in my journal, Tagalog. Marunong din ako before mag-Bisaya because my mom's Bisaya. But I've unlearned all of that because in the recruitment process, in the screening process, in the school process, and school is so competitive, you gotta learn English. If not, you go down. It's like those really hard processes. So that's a long backstory. But that's the beginning of SOLD. So I want to build a school, but I know I don't have the resources, I don't have the money, I don't have the investors yet. But it really is, I wanted to be Filipino school. Ayoko na foreign owned. I've had so many experiences and it's really different. I really wanted by Filipinos, for Filipinos. So it's a Manila-based school designing, learning with critical lenses, especially in our landscape now where there's so much fake news, right? Data, and human connection. Because the foundation of the strongest systems is not in the parts of the system, but it's in the connection of the parts. So human connection is so important to engineer caring, socially just, and inclusive futures together. So that's the big goal. And I designed it super recent lang. Like, it's my pandemic baby. I've always avoided starting something new because I want to support what's already existing. But most of the existing things doesn't match the value or what I want long term. So I started SOLD. So it's learning usually project based. So it's learning, not memorizing, but it's learning something using your experiences. So, because I'm also a learning designer, so really incorporating that, beginning with self, going to country, and then eventually, maybe when it's older, to the world, right? Because and education is so powerful. So it's inspired by probably the summary of all the books I've read. And of course, it's gonna transform as I learn and unlearn because it's a continuous process. So SOLD right now, it's made up of different things, but it's really about critical learning, data, human connection. So I have this na. So I've already established this. It's called Ugnayan, but it's really a hub for systems thinking in the Philippines. And I wanted to be really contextualized here because ang dream ko is that the Filipinos around the globe look at the Philippines in as much awe as they have when they look at the publishers from other countries because there's so much talent here. And I really, really believe that. Sobrang daming talent. Just like seeing the Developh Camp, for example. There's so much talent. It's just that we have to really find them and like bring them to light or have a seat in the table, right? So this is now established. It's like how might we bring diverse people together and collaborate because our problems are, we're all facing the same problem. Like for example, sustainability isn't just a scientist problem, it's not just a fashion problem, it's an everyone problem. And the one that I chose for the camp is Pilipinas Journal because I wanted bite size. So what's something I can do with the camp that I can already do and establish now and iterate na lang in the future. So what's most important is I do something now, put it out there, and then evolve through time. So it's a reminder of indigenous craftsmanship and wisdom. And it answers the question, or it explores the question, how do we explore our collective identities, not just Filipinos here, but Filipinos abroad, second generation, third generation, um, our histories, identities, understand what phase are we at. Because from what my experience, the more I talk to people, the more I understand na we're facing so many things. Like for example, yun nga, we're losing our language. Maybe in different contexts, depending na, because we're such a diverse, linguistically diverse country, geographically diverse. I'm sure it's different for other people. And really transform to a Philippines, feel like a kind of people na we want. So, marami siyang stuff right now and I can do this alone. So, I really want to start yung data design and story maps. So, very similar to if anyone here knows yung India in pixels. I want to do something like that, but for the Philippines. But right now, I have data. I have this, not yet the design. I need help with the putting them together. Because I don't know how to code. Or maybe if there's a way that's no code. So, and I also want a magazine. The magazine I have na, the prototype. So it's learning, I'll publish it monthly. And then there's an open library, arena, or maybe somewhere else, like Airtable. I'll still see. And then features, because I want whoever I'll feature, for example, indigenous people, it's really coming from them. Because I'm not from, for example, I'm from Luzon. If I'm gonna feature someone from Mindanao, they have to be from Mindanao because there's value. Because I'm a big advocate also of diversity, inclusion practices. So it's very important to center voices. So hopefully, to the Filipinas Journal, it can happen. So these are like the ongoing bucket list. From archi, ranging to history plus more. And then this is like my my canvas. So empathy canvas. Because I noticed there's a lot of people. Actually, na-inspire ako to do this project because I was just randomly sharing this to people, my friends, and the communities I'm part of. And they're like, Z, magtayo ka na ng school. Ang dami mong sinasabi sa amin and that has to go somewhere. Sabi ko, okay. So actually, it stemmed from that. Parang, ang dami mong sinishare. Pwede share mo na lang yun publicly. So parang, okay, I'll consider it. So this is the empathy map on who might benefit from this magazine. But really the pains are there. We have internalized colonialism, gentrification, low wages. Oh my God, our wages here compared to other countries, my goodness. Anyway, so other things, it's not fun. Like my kids don't like learning about the Philippines because it's boring. It's memorization of dates and names, but it doesn't have to be like that. That's why I want to transform it. So I want to transform it into something digestible and something that people can look at with delight and respect, with also, again, data-driven, evidence-driven, hopefully, that really looks into what we've been doing before. So, I'm not gonna spend siguro so much time on this kasi medyo mahaba siya. But here is some of the prototypes that's done. So, this is the first issue. I don't know when I'm gonna publish it, but we'll see. Maybe this month. But this is about heritage. Because I have friends who are in architecture and they tell me so many things about ang ganda yung mga architecture from Mindanao. And then I never knew about it. So, and I'm sure na hindi lang ako yun. Like I'm sure there's so many people out there wanting to know. It's just that it's not widely accessible unless you have JSTOR or like any of those really, like mga academia, diba? But no one has all access to that. So, and like college students are 16% of our population. So, what more unlike the collected? So, this is examples about heritage. Yeah, and it's centering Filipino voices. So, most of the people na I want to quote, mga from here, or ideally mga Pinoy. So, and I really want it to be bilingual because I feel like there's so many good brands now online. It's just that it's not for everyone. Because not everyone's so good in English anyway. I feel like it's just people, parang they really needs a deliberate effort to make sure that we reach, or this body of knowledge reach people who are not like us. So, yan, like Tagalog, and then I translate it in English. So, and then all of these things I kind of do now. So, it's an example. Um, and then I have one on collective knowledge and history. This is the first one I did, and I'm not so happy pa about the design. Na-realize ko, parang pangit talaga. Nilagay ko no first one, but there's value in just doing it anyway, and I learned so much. So most of these are books I've read. Like, I'm sure you guys know this na, yung parang Philippines Not Small Country, yung House of Memory, super good book of if you want to learn more about Cebu. And then, the classics of Nicole Heaney. But, like, if I ask my families who read this, I would say only one person, or maybe even zero. They probably read more, what's those sikat na books? Yung mga, they probably read more Disney stuff rather than like these. Pero kasi, diba, it takes a market also to read this, and they're all medyo tech heavy, alam mo yun. And my goal is to make them really bite-sized because they're so good. Kasi, yan, sina Doreen Fernandez. It was so nice reading about them, and, Kakao and more maps and more systems mapping. Or, for example, this one is about why language is important. So, that's the beginning of Filipinas Journal, and I hope to be consistent with it in this year. Hopefully, this year, beginning February. Thanks so much, and I'm open to your thoughts, and these are the things what I need. So in case you're interested, sometimes I feel na ang kapal ng mukha ko when I say we, but SODF is just me. So if you message, it's really me. So I will answer you. So message nyo lang ako lang din naman sasagot doon. So yeah, I'm a learner designer. I'm a designer. But I need help with the tech side talaga. The tech side, like building a website, and then how I could make a data visualization map. Because I tried going on YouTube and learning it, but it has code, so I don't know how to do it yet. Power of yet. And then, yeah, it's also non-profit. So I run this really purely donations based, or when I get money from my workshops, I put the money here. But I'm also connected. So it's a social enterprise non-profit because I teach public schools now about the future of work skills. So dun ko din binubuhos yung pera, what I earn from SODF. That's it. Thanks so much for listening. Those yeah.
I am in such awe of you because I feel like SODF it's like a lot of like what we want to do and develop as well. It's so hard to set up like schools. Talaga, pero laban. The amount of like thought you just put into this though, I just have no words. Just wow, you amaze me. Yeah, I'm sure the other fellows have a lot to say. Oh, who's gonna talk? Did I hear someone? Yes, Jake, you unmuted. I knew you were gonna talk. Similarities, I swear.
Okay, so I really love this like so much, as in like but I guess if you're looking for feedback, one thing I would say is well, yung recommendation ko is like linked social media accounts, like Facebook just to reach everyone. Maybe another place for long form stuff, so like Tumblr or Substack, and then I guess Instagram is good to reach the design community. I feel like just those three would already be like really solid. And then for modules, I'm not sure. Probably like I'm sure there are a lot of like online learning sites that just like are on the tip of my tongue right now. They're like, alam ko they're paid, but then they're like super minimal fees. And yeah, I think YouTube is a good place to start because like just get it out there. And yeah, I really do appreciate how it's like bite-sized lang. it's not super dense and academic, because I feel like that turns off a lot of people. So like, I'm all about like translating the really interesting stuff, like helping other people see it as interesting as I do. But I'm super nerd, so I want to help like non-nerds appreciate it as much as I do. So yeah, good job on this. I really like it. And if there's any way you can contribute, that'd be great.
Oh, kilig! Oh my gosh, same, Jake. Like, I love reading, but I know it's not for everyone. Kasi I have friends na one chapter lang, ayaw na nila. They're gonna sleep on it. Like, I tried to share the martial law book to my friends, but they're like, see, I can't. It's so graphic and it's so long, I cannot. So, yes to bite size. Thanks so much, Jake. I'm gonna look into the long form stuff. I'll probably message you. I'm on Substack, but I haven't really explored other options yet. Thanks, Jake.
I just wanted to comment on the point on your point about appreciation. I just felt like it hit home for me, and I feel like I somewhat see you as well, like as an artist. I'm not sure if you see yourself that way, but it's just like getting people to love what we love. I feel like is I think it's an understated work of people who are very like creative, and yeah, like I just felt like how much of yourself that you sort of poured into this like work, and yeah, like I'm also very like curious about your own creative journey. I felt like this presentation wasn't just like a tour of your project. It really felt like it really felt like a part of who you are. So I don't know. I felt closer to you after hearing you speak. So yeah, I just really appreciate that.
Oh, thanks so much, Jazz. That's so generous of you to share. And yeah, I feel like this project has been an unfolding for the past years, and it just kind of clicked during the pandemic. Like the dots have connected. Like fun fact, I never wanted to teach. I was a sustainability and entrepreneur major. I never thought I'd be in education. But I guess the nerd in me kind of just like I can relate to Jake. I think the nerd in me just wala eh. She got released somewhere, and then now I'm in education. Thanks so much, Jazz.
As a nerd too, I relate. Like even if you don't feel called to it, like when it's stuck in your head, it keeps you up at night, and you have to put it out in the world. It's like it's not a want, but it's a need at this point. So I really relate with all of you. All on my feedback, on my suggestions. I agree with Jake on the social media accounts, because I feel like a lot of the ways na this kind of information is shared with the world, I usually find it like through Instagram or like nowadays. Let me go to two platforms I really like on my feed. One, I really love how Media Commoner makes social issues like super easy to understand, especially and they're super shareable too. Like for instance, this divide on our cities, like gentrification is like such a broad topic. But when it's presented visually like this, it's so powerful. Yeah, so I feel like you could like kahit like do like simple stuff like this on Canva lang, like for your modules when you're sharing it, and it will already like help share your mission. Also, the Slow Factory. They are a lab and it's cool, but for sustainability stuff, and they make very helpful posts like this. For instance, like they define words. What else? They also do workshops, but I love how they use this. It's like an informational platform. These are my favorite accounts on Instagram, because even though medyo toxic yung Instagram, there are these like little gems, like it's like food for thought. The ones that you always want to share, see like little prompts like this. I feel like SODF could take similar vibes. And your whole Filipinas journal, I can envision it as like one whole like site. Like maybe it can be like done through like no code, but I can help out with that. So don't worry on the tech side. You can like reach out to me and I gotta like help you go through a little tutorial like how I helped with Jazz. Yeah, and maybe like even help you out to like start like the UX of it. But yeah, back to the no code. Here are two pegs. I am gonna share. This is like a parang digital garden for like startup knowledge. I will send it here. I really like how clean it is and like everything I want is like all in one place. I feel like you could present like your modules kind of like this stuff was very accessible, easy to turn topics. Yeah. But of course, maybe like less wordy. They had to do it like this because very technical topics. But yeah, I envision it like kind of like a library already. This is another site I did for Matanglawin, the Filipino publication in Ateneo. I really like how they want to put their like issues out. They have their physical issues out in issue. These are like external links. That was like when you click them, it goes to the page they made now. So if you prefer to like make like have like parang this kind of format for your media done, like maybe for your modules, yeah, you could have something like this. And I feel like a way na maybe you and Jake could collab. I feel like his Philippine tourism branding could be fashioned into like a module for you guys, because my junior thesis project, we one of the RRL I collected was on counter mapping. Local lab did a counter lab mapping workshop. I don't know how to explain the concept well, but basically parang the constitutions in like a certain place, like parang they map like where they're living, like in how from how they see it, like instead of like just like geographically lang, they like make their own meaning of it. And I feel like with the tourism like branding could like locals could do something similar. Like how would they like present their own place? How could they like fall in love with this place? Because when you grow up in the place, it like kind of loses its magic to you. I feel like approaching it from a tourism standpoint would be great. They learn to fall in love with it all over it, especially since that they're the ones who know their place, their community the most. That's just food for thought from me. But yeah, that is pretty much my brain dump. I'm gonna read out loud the comments. Yeah, have the clear community page. Discord might be a bit too like Gen Z, maybe hard for those not in the older gen. But I really like but I think Facebook groups would do fine. But I'm not that. Facebook isn't my preferred platform, but basta a place where having other people convene would be great. Yeah, that is all from me. Anyone else want to share? I talk so much. Yes, Sammy says, the way you approach education is such a breath of fresh air. Yeah, we need more educators like you. Please help us fall in love with the education system. Again, is that all from everyone? In 3, 2, 1. We're gonna go to Lennon's project, Sinotor of PH Notoriables. I love this title so much. Matching quiz. Basically, it matches your views on the issues with the senatorial candidates and where they stand on those same issues. So yeah, take it away, Lennon.
Hello. So sharing lang muna, what I like about the camp is yung, I do. Okay. What I like about the camp is yung ability natin to commit to the project and yung how we're able to have accountability to follow up. Kasi minsan ako, like, camera ako. So, like, kung meron akong project, like, hindi ko siya gagawin. And honestly, yung project kung gusto kong gawin, feeling ko medyo late na ako kasi purpose ko it's more to pitch deck. And meron akong deadline na gusto kong i-follow. So, hopefully magawa ka siya. Hopefully magawa natin siya. So, I'll be presenting...
By the way, Lennon, the doc na you put in the Notion, we restricted access.
I'm not restricted. Okay, sige. Can you see my screen?
Oh, wait lang let me... Yep, we can see it.
Okay. So, good morning, good evening, everyone. I'm Len Villanueva, an artist and designer, and I'll be presenting my project on the 2022 national elections because I'm very passionate about politics and governance. So, the framework that I followed for my project and presentation is similar to how I did my thesis with ID. So, in the upcoming elections on May 2022, we currently have 5 frontrunners. So namely, we have Kim Lacson, Bongbong Marcos, Isko Moreno, Manny Pacquiao, and Lenny Robredo. So, and meanwhile, in the Philippines, we're on experiencing the worst effects of COVID-19. So, this means that with government lockdowns, it makes it harder for the candidates to have in-person events or to promote their campaigns in physical spaces. So candidates have to rely more on social media to reach people, to reach voters, basically. So they have to rely on social media. And we all know that social media is a fundamental force in Philippine society. It's very convenient, it's very accessible, and its accessibility is also what makes it a prime platform for people to sway public opinion easily. And we all know that our public officials will do anything to get the attention of our voters, whatever it takes. So this raises the concern that the social aspect of it all paves the way for disinformation or fake news. So to give ourselves some stats, to give the significance, over 90% of Filipinos with access to the internet are on social media. Facebook dominates the country. As of last year, 2021, about 81% of the Philippine population is on Facebook. So, sobrang dami na. Sobrang daming people online. To the point that a lot of Filipinos have used Facebook as their de facto internet. And a lot of Filipinos go on Facebook and they read Facebook and they trust the things that they read on Facebook more than mainstream media. And I mean, for a lot of us here have fallen victim also to fake news, myself included, because fake news has blended itself so seamlessly in our timelines. Na hindi na natin notice. So this is actually fake news. And with people who have very unreliable internet, it's hard for them to verify or to fact check the news that they have the news that they have. No? And this is very much seen in the 2016 national elections with the win of our outgoing president, Rodrigo Duterte. Kasi 2016 saw one of the Duterte was one of our first national candidates who made use of the virality of social media. And 2016 was kind of known as our first social media election. Kasi di ba Facebook got its ground mga 12, 13, 14. Ako parang I think I was first year high school ata. And 2016 na was the presidential elections. So the 2022 elections we'll see as some kind of like dramatic second act as a follow-up. And nakita rin natin yung dark after effects, yung chaos and kalat in the senatorial elections 2019. And I cannot stress it more enough that disinformation and fake news is embedded in our Philippine society. Kasi in the 2019 senatorial race results, objectively speaking, we can say that we have elected someone who was uh, penalized before for the pork barrel scandal and someone who is part of a family known for their not so good past, let's just say that. So for my design challenge right now is how might we prepare young voters before the country's 2022 elections in an age where fake news is harder to spot than ever. And this is a really parang big challenge admittedly. So who's my audience? I'm trying to tailor it to parang scope and limitations. So yung stakeholders ko are Gen Z, aged around 18 to 23 years old. Kasi I saw online na there are around 5.8 million first-time voters na Gen Z. So they comprise of a big chunk of the people who are going to vote. And they are a lot of from the impressionable youth who on Facebook, Twitter, social media, TikTok, etc. So the stakeholders are people who have social media, they have access to internet, they're still discerning their candidates. So of any gender, economic status, and religion. So the project is called Senator. So it is a senatorial vote matching quiz. Kasi I realized that we have a lot of wealth of information and disinformation when it comes to presidents and vice presidents. No? And as I mentioned kanina, this is 2019 elections. Sometimes you don't really know. There are 64 candidates running right now. And people na merong malakas na pangalan are less than half of those. So, it's really hard to actually even complete your 12. Hindi mo naman kailangan complete your 12 mo to have a vote that counts. And also thank you to Bianca kasi parang she also parang suggested na mag-focus also on the senators for this one. So it's a quiz that matches your views with the 2022 senatorial candidates and where they stand. So yung policy kasi that's just one reason to pick a candidate. Pero this quiz just helps you clarify what is their stand, what do they think on key issues that are close to you, do you agree with them? So it is two-pronged. Now first, merong online quiz, so what I mentioned, and merong Facebook campaign na parang bonus lang, it's more of a supplementary. Kasi of course, the online quiz is another touch point. So the Facebook campaign is, nandun na sila sa Facebook, so why not bring it to them? So yung online quiz is like, yun yung main thing. So, the matching quiz, so around 10 to 20 questions siya, hopefully variety of topics. So, parang they reveal big differences between the candidates. And yung proposal ko would be parang, baka pwede siya microsite or subsection of iboto.ph. I don't know if this is possible. Feel free to push back lang later. Kasi parang yung iboto.ph, medyo may clout na siya. So parang, it's nice to, if we were to promote this, but it's nice to have it on an existing platform that's already known. So parang I don't have an example of what it looks like right now kasi parang I meant kanina, parang late na nga ako. Pero I do have pegs that I have from online. Ito from Washington Post. So the sample is, the government should make 4 years of college blank for all families, including the wealthy. The options are free, debt-free, or affordable. So for example, when you click free, lalabas yung candidates who agree with you. So this one's Bernie, top explanation. Tapos debt-free, affordable, it also shows you kung sino. Although naisip ko kasi, kung meron 64 candidates, parang ang dami masyado. So parang I'm still deciding if this is a nice way to approach things. Na parang you have the question, you have the answer, tapos preemptively papakita sa iyo kung sino. The other option is like I got this one from, I think, New York Times. Although this one, I think ginawa kasi nila ang Flash. So, medyo mahirap. High effort siya. Parang merong per question, you answer it yes or no lang siya. Tapos, after you answer it, lalabas siya ng basically yung list of people who uh, best match your views. So dito, in-answer ko. So si Bernie and si Elizabeth Warren yung naman sa akin. So, first senators, I believe, kung 64 siya, mas matitrim down to maybe more than 12 or less than 12. Kung depende dun sa questions. And also, I think the pros of this one is hindi ko ma-prepare kung ano yung senator, and also kapag gusto mong mag-list ng 12, nandito na siya. And this one naman, medyo high effort din, and honestly, hindi ko alam kung paano gawin kasi ginawa to in Tableau. This is from Ryan Yu, na search ko online from the 2019 elections. So parang there's a slider, tapos every time slider, nag-update yung data visualization siya, ang galing na, amazing. Na parang update yung thing on this right. So parang the ones with number one are the ones that are most related to your views. So, ang galing. Pero hindi ko ito magagawa. Anyway, so the Facebook campaign, parang I think a lot of, as I mentioned, the proliferation of fake news happens kasi on Facebook. So I think it's nice to bring your content to where they are, which is Facebook. So, so if ever, baka it's nice to have, for the design intervention, to have profiles of the candidates. Although alam ko kasi, the nice thing about the quiz is very interactive, and yung interactive aspect of it, and this one you can see it. Also, another thing is, since it's just a supplement, baka mas madali na it's streamlined into one whole thing as a whole. And for methodology, malapit na yung elections, I know, and kinakabahan na din ako. Kasi elections is scheduled to be on May 9, so time check is February 11. I'm eyeing to see it na February next week, yung branding identity. So end of February is like content making, consolidating information, like researching on the different senatoriables. And I'm looking towards the majority of March to be about web design and development. And hopefully sana ma-deploy siya by end of March. Kasi parang pinag-isipan ko, okay, kung release siya ng end of April, May 9, edi ipopromote mo siya, you have to see the campaign first. So parang at least pa kailangan 1 month. So sabi ko, okay, dapat end of March siguro. Pero I'm not yet sure kung enough time, but if it's enough time for web design and development, because in relation to this, let's make it happen. Yung expertise ko really relies on branding. I'm a graphic designer, so I know how to make the logos, branding identity, etc. And also kung you're in infographics. I think I can also do yung content. For the web design, I think kaya ko na siya i-design like yung itsura niya. For web dev, I would need anyone's help if you know anyone to connect me with anyone na would know a way na kasi I'm not sure kung kaya to with simple na what's available online, yung interactive aspect of like something like this, or yung quiz types of like yung information. So I'm really not sure kung available siya like that. So I'm also thinking kung pwede mag-collaborate with other people na interested sa politics for web developer, napaka-specific, I don't know. Or if anyone wants to help me consolidate the information also, that would be nice. But I think yung main problem ko right now would be yung web dev kasi it's a struggle. The struggle is real. Thank you.
Yes, very timely, very relevant project. Thank you for sharing. Before I'm gonna share my thoughts. Does anyone have other fellows? What do you have to like say or suggest? Hello. Yes, he shared the presentation there also for everyone's reference. Okay, while waiting for people, I'm gonna talk. I think, because right now, since you have a deadline, what's better is having something out than like nothing, right? So even though like the peg giver is super nice, and I wish we could like, I feel like I'm worried about the timeline. I'm not sure if it's feasible. So I recommend for the web dev part, you scope it like down muna to like just the form, then maybe like a microsite for it. I'm thinking of something like maybe type form like this. This is what I have on my screen. For instance, it's something I found on like parang like the web free space or whatever. Basically, it's like find your crypto political compass or whatever. And it's like very simple. And then in the end, you get something like this. Like, oh, you're this identity. Tapos pwede mo i-share or something on social media. Like, oh, I identify with these people. I'm not sure if it will allow for like parang multiple senators. Though. Basta like look into a no-code tool because I feel like looking for a dev might take you like so much time and will take like effort off of the research and content and design, which is really important. Also, the type for naman, pwede mo naman i-design or i-format. Like, you could add, like, picture choices like this. I feel like having more visual pictures would, like, help for people just, like, reading words. Right? But, yeah, MVP having the form out, then maybe making a site for it, like, featuring the form. Like, maybe the site could have the form embedded, tapos there's also like an overall directory of the senators and their platforms, something similar to like Iboto, like how it was a directory for people, for the senators like platforms and their issues. Only instead there's like a form involved. So there's two components to that. There's the form and then there's the directory for people. Because it's just me like when I'm taking quizzes, like I want to like know all the results because I feel like, oh, I didn't get the result I wanted. I want to see what other those results are. So I feel like something similar. What happened here? So let me repeat that. There's the form. You have your directory too, and I feel like the form should be like shareable. I think which you can do for the campaign. Yeah, but like the pubs you'll have out there should be like viral worthy na they present the info very in a easy to consume way. That's all I have to say. I will help look for pegs, but that's to help make your life easier because development will take I feel like it'll take longer than one expects. Always expect the worst. That's a tip I have for everyone. Let me read Z's comment. Highly relevant. Push. I'd use this as express around the schools. Pansin ko yung mga BuzzFeed type quizzes, yeah, get attention from your intended audience. Maybe since it's targeting all social and economic sectors, to use several languages too. I find that the harder part of critical ed. Yeah, like to be honest, like hanggang na yun, like I have a hard time understanding neoliberalism. Like anong ibig sabihin ng neoliberal? Bakit like why is it bad being a liberal? Yeah, wording it like similar values is a better way to approach it versus like saying like, oh, who should you vote for? Because that's very like, why are you demanding that of me? It's more like, oh, this is someone you might like. More like a gentle approach, which is like actively campaigning for someone because I don't wanna like you have to take the non-partition route for this. Unfortunately, kasi if you show like bias, it's less likely to be shared. Like people like, OMG, it's just spreading misinformation, blah blah. blah blah, It's how, people treat things like Rappler, na, because they're left leaning and stuff, all the right leaning people don't, want to share info from them, kahit it's useful naman, right? Yeah. Hindi levels, yung mga, oh, it's so cute! Who has cases? I love that idea. And it'd be a good way to like expose people to. I'm gonna brain dump this here. How about the other fellows? Any thoughts?
Thank you pala by the way dun sa Azzy, dun sa actually parang napaisip na ako when you said about using it in several languages. Kasi it makes sense na people, I have a friend na nakusap ko lang kanina na Bisaya. Mas comfortable siya mag-Bisaya from Davao. And I understand, tama nga ako, it's like both English, Filipino, baka limiting to also to expand it to other things. So parang naisip ko, shit, parang it would be nice if I started earlier kasi parang it sounds nice yung gusto ko gawin but also I wanna be practical. So I think, yeah, I need to even limit yung scope to something mas realistic, I think. Pero thank you for that. I think, yeah.
Wala naman, push natin yan. I can help siguro dun sa part na research. Tapos I've been like tracking the centers din. Pero yun nga, parang with the, depending on the scope, like for youths, the younger kids, right? Parang when I work with younger kids, it's really regional, like NCR kids. So they're heavy with campaigns eh. So naririnig talaga nila yung mga top 5 candidates because they go around, tapos medyo maingay and stuff. But like my students from Zambales, for example, since I've taught in that community, yung media nila is talagang cellphone lang, saka radyo. Wala silang TV. So Facebook din talaga. Hindi sila nag-i-English. So parang English talaga is such a, like it's such a NCR thing for them. It's such a Manila-centric language. Yeah, so pero goal na nun, baka, 2 languages lang.
Yeah. Parang either English and Filipino para at least basic level. And super ako yung sinabi mo nga para at least yung framing mong quiz also to tailor more to younger people. We'll definitely consider that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Love ng kids ko yun. Yung parang sino ka dito sa mga characters na to. So you can make it like that if you're targeting Gen Z siguro.
Oh, by the way, sorry, na-curious ako. You mentioned na you used to teach in Zambales.
Yes.
Parang online siya.
We migrated to online. Like we used Facebook Messenger at one point. But then we stopped it because we didn't have funding anymore. So it's just really non-profit. I think there are limitations. We did text-based curriculum, text-based modules. But we ran it for 2020 to 2021. It was super challenging. And talagang, we received so many fake news, Lennon. So sobrang relevant talaga. And yung group chat namin sa Facebook, puro siya, ipasa nito, makakakuha kayo ng ginto. Yung mga ganon. As in, so super relevant what you're doing. I super supported. Like, share it lang. And if you need like people to share it around, sobrang game.
Alright.
Thank you.
Now, finally, last but not the least, we have Jazz's project. So, she called it Gorge on Gesture. Basically, it's a virtual space that spotlights abstract artists by imagining who would they be in like a young adult-esque setting. The aim of this is to cultivate art appreciation and creative direction and free thinking of young artists. So cool. They brought in the site. This is the site the user would also see how other artists and students respectfully reference artistic motifs, integrate them into their own style. So I'm interested to see what this looks like. Such a cool concept. Take it away.
Hello guys. So before anything, I just wanted to comment on Lennon's project. Just as a final thing, I have like this friend who's also like trying to choose like who their like senatorial choices are. So if you're done with the project, I just really love to be updated with the progress and all that. I think so many of my classmates and my friends would really benefit from what you're putting out there right now.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hopefully, mausan siya. Thank you.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. How do I do this? Oh. Not sure. Okay.
Yes.
There. Okay, got it. Oh, oops.
Can you share us the link too? Yeah, make sure it's
Oh,
visible.
the link. Okay, sure. How do I? I'll just copy paste.
Yeah. Oh, you're there's a lock pa in your share.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's restricted access. I can see it kasi in the
Oh,
button.
I see. Okay. Yes. Okay. So that. Okay.
Yes, so that we can all look for it in our own time. And I'm going to
Okay.
share this to the people who can't make it today.
Sure. No problem.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. That's fine. Share. Okay. Copy the link and do I place it
You
in
can
the
place
chat
it in
or?
the chat and then I'll
Okay.
get it for you. I'll put it for you.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yes. Okay. So, yeah. Before I deep dive into the project that I thought of, I just want to share muna the journey I went through to sort of get into to get into the point of ideating this project. So I guess this project started out because me and my friend, we sort of like to create stories lang. We're sort of immersed in this, in the sort of art Twitter community. Or for me, my origin story came back pa when from Deviant Art. So I have it's a very old community, and it just came from this desire to really write the stories that we feel like are very important to us. Sometimes oh, I think there. The pictures are a bit different when I share it, but yeah. So these are some of the things that I came up with. Some in the past, and some of them I'm working on it right now. So yeah, some of them are very parang mystery themed. Some of them are based on my own culture. Because I come from a Chinese background. I'm Filipino Chinese. So and I used to compete in calligraphy. So I would study these books. These five styles, and I try to create a whole tale. To also bring people closer to the craft that I sort of honed throughout the years. And then these are just I just wanted to show some of the other things. This one is from by my friend. So these are just her OCs. And yeah, and recently it's just also because of quarantine. You don't really get to go outside and interact with people. So you sort of build your own worlds, right, inside your own home. And you sort of there I also have other projects wherein I try to imagine how these people would act if they're different from different stories would act if they're put in together in one place. So it's really so the focus here is really character building and storytelling. Um, so and the inspiration sort of struck me when I was looking through uh, while I was looking through some of my notes sa Coursera, kasi I'm also a long time Coursera user. And I just noticed na parang uh, compared to our curriculums in school, because I attend a liberal arts college. So they have what they call house courses. And what these are parang mini explorations throughout the sem, wherein go on and explore anything that you want. And but the format of it, and sometimes the way they package the information is really different from like a more academic course. What I still feel like, as a user of Coursera, the focus of Coursera is more about like quizzes, sort of like making education free for everybody, and also like getting people who don't have access to like professional like, curriculums and all that, um, sort of like spreading the information to them. But I think because of that, there's a focus on substance, rather than the form, right? And so my question right now is, how can we recontextualize the information, because you have like tons of information now, in this age. So how do we recontextualize this so that people would be more excited when they encounter these subjects? So because of this, I sort of posed the question, right? Like, can we sort of overcome the limits of our current education models? Is there the feelings that we encounter every day, sometimes feeling excited, feeling passionate about something, a hobby, like falling in love with a, I don't know, like a story, like a character. Are these like coincidences, or is it just that the system is sort of like, parang it's sort of poorly designed, because the how do I call, the focus is in dissemination, rather than appreciation. And so I also so I sort of challenged myself to think of a way. We have like Pinterest right now and all these other platforms, where and you see photos, but they're sort of like stripped out from their context. And sometimes that's why people argue na parang, oh, wow, like mood board is more about aesthetic rather than substance. But I sort of want to create my own spin, and say, what, could we like take these decontextualized photos and sort of create our own statement of our own like identity. Tumblr's been doing that for quite a while right now. And sort of like see how others works, fit into our own story. So how do these like sort of like collage or a mood board of like pics that are seemingly unrelated to each other, can we piece them together in our own way? So there's sort of like a dimension, right, of interpretation, and the reason why I chose abstract art as sort of like the motif, if you could call it, of this project, is because of what abstract art is to a lot of the people who are not really in the scene, who are not as formally trained, or formally educated. There's this question of acquired taste. Is art something that only really a few people appreciate based on their background, or is it something that we could learn? So there's a question of that. I like it because there's sort of like this degree of uncomfort that comes with abstract art, because sometimes it's just like one paint stroke, and then it sells for so much. So you sort of pose questions na parang, is this like a capitalistic endeavor, like, or is this just a way for rich people to preserve their money, especially right now? Okay, I might get canceled for this, but some people, like, for who buy like NFTs right now, sometimes they buy it not really, not because they're drawn to the art, but because it's a way for them to store money. They store money in paintings, right? It's just like a way to store value. So instead of just like, sending it from bank to another and then my interest pa pang babayarin, it's like it's paintings. So it's a whole, so there, it's really part of like this financial, like our current financial systems in this world. So I just wanted to see na parang, how can we turn abstract art around into something that actually serves people. So of course, that's for like the external, yung external feelings. But how about like internal feelings? Since this is sort of a creative project, there is a creative output in this. I wanted to show na parang I also went through my own sort of like questions of worth and like self doubt, because as you're creating this website, you're just like is what I'm doing making any sense? Or would people really understand what I'm doing, or the work that I'm doing? So I feel like I also get to follow the journey of the artist, even for a short while, because they're artists their whole lives, and for me it's more of like a dip into their world, right? So it's really I think it's more of a journey for me really than an output. So before I formally introduce the project, I just like to credit where I got some of the material from. So it's from a course in Coursera by Alex Rodinger and Corey D. Augustin. And their course spotlights 8 New York artists in like a post-war abstract painting. I think that's the title of the course. So I wanted to see if we could reimagine, the sort of like their curriculum or what they wanted to teach in that course. Um, so this is sort of like a work in progress. Um, so it's more of like a website, and I plan to do it in Webflow with my other friend, and it's supposed to have animation so that it's a bit more engaging. But right now it's static, right? So within this website, if you press like character, or I was hoping for this part, there's gonna be like some kind of like burning animation, but and then that will somehow lead you to this next next page, wherein you get to choose a chapter of like an artist that you're interested in. So for this part, we have like 4 artists we spotlighted. This is supposed to be Agnes Martin. I accidentally placed Angela. So yeah, so there's Barnett Newman, Agnes Martin, Jackson Pollock, for some of you who may know him. He's a bit more famous, and Mark Rothko. So for example, if I choose Barnett, so as you could see, like this is like what you would see in a standard, like a museum, right? If you enter a museum, this is what you see. And I sort of wanted to see how do we capture that in like a digital setup. So this is sort of like my reimagination of his work. Because Barnett Newman sort of plays with the idea of focus, where you because of these lines there, and I could really get into this, but my main point is, you know, Barnett Newman was sort of had like some mythological or very big questions um, about like very big concepts, and I tried to like translate that into this character, and I also wanted to sort of uh, put like some touch of things that people could relate to. So as you could see, like this person has some sort of fluidity to them. Like I'm pretty sure this is like like a strip club photo, and then like it's I think this person, if I could like succinctly like try to capture his identity, it's more of like a like a non-binary type of person, and I feel like yeah, so I sort of tried to create a character that does not exist, based on the work that I see, right in front of me in like the museum. Because also another thing to note is that this painting is quite big in the museum, so it's supposed to like also overwhelm you. So I'm not sure how we're supposed to do that on digital setting, right? Because it's like a website. But yeah, so these are just some of the things I wanted to do. This is also supposed to be an animation. When you scroll up or down, the photos are supposed to like appear like spontaneously. So these are just for the other artists. We have here Jackson Pollock. Jackson. He's known as Jack the Dripper. His style is a bit more all over the place, and his last painting was his last painting was uh, sort of like a pastiche, or sort of like enmeshment of all his previous works. He was sort of like a listless artist, an artist without a direction, but he's also very well educated. He's formally trained under other artists, and I sort of want to capture his character in like this, this other character here, who's, you see here books, you see here like water, and like a bit more chaotic. Like the format itself is a bit more chaotic than Newman's. So yeah, and so there, I could go on and on about this. So this is another artist, Mark Rothko. Um, he deals with basic human emotions naman. All his artworks are all about like just a single emotion, despair, grief, something like that. And he tries to capture it um, in his works that are called color field paintings. And he sort of invented this style. And the nice thing about this is that you only see one color, but if you sort of look closely enough, or if you try to replicate this art, you actually have to mix in like grays into this yellow. And obviously it's invisible here, but and it's sort of a commentary about how complicated our emotions are. So yeah, so these are just three artists. I just wanted to give you a feel of where I'm thinking, or like where my I guess my website making sort of like heading towards. So yeah, so this is sort of the animation. It's supposed to start like this, and then maybe when you press it or when you slide it, the photos appear, and then yeah, so they have like sections for each one. And so you saw the mood board, and then this would be for like the signature and inquiries, just so people also know like the artistic inquiries that they focused on, and then the signature style that they have. So it's really like or almost like a bio of the artist as well. And finally, this is I guess the second to the last slide. This is sort of like a showcase of their work. So I'm not sure how I could like show their works. Pero I was thinking more of like a long list of their portraits, and sort of just a number, and something that they could scroll, so that they could also have a reference for their works. And the last, I also have like a page where you could see a gallery of pictures of how other artists like reference their work. So that means I would like sort of show like other artists adopting their style and all. But that's another page that I haven't done yet. So yeah, to end the presentation, I feel like the care is the easiest and the hardest, lifelong endeavor that we have. And I hope that when people leave this virtual space, it's either they feel a bit differently about themselves, about the artist, or maybe like this fictional character that's sort of like interfacing, between, the you and the artist, and also like the piece that they've created. So yeah, I guess that's the end of the presentation. Sorry, I rambled a bit, but I hope it's a bit clear.
Oh no, no worries. It was just really nice being able to see like your passion for this, and wow, it really took me back. Like, and it makes so much sense now. Like your creative concept, like by you contextualize the art by humanizing it, by making an actual OC out of it. That is pretty ingenious to me. Not gonna lie, yeah. Before I share my feedback, I guess, I'd love to hear from the other fellows. Thank you guys for still being here. By the way, thoughts? Wait lang. I am looking like I'm trying to gather one. Okay, first on my end, like what you always talked about, like on like art and its value reminds me of like this very similar thought dump I had. I posted the link here. But yeah, I was talking a lot about like, oh, art is important to me because it's proof of my taste, which is proof of my life. Like collect all this stuff. Like it's just makes me happy. It spiritually fulfills me. That kind of stuff. It humanizes me. Yeah, yeah. That is my dump. And two, I'm wondering. I know Jake did something similar like this because he has this like internet persona. Like he made like OCs based on like Filipino mythological creatures, and like even made na I can't find the Tumblr right now. I'm gonna ask him for it, but yeah, he made like a tabletop on it pa, and like stuff. Like he has like whole ass profiles on them, and I'm wondering if I can see like more of that, like the written part on in your project, because I see the art and stuff. But I just wonder like what those long profiles, the writing setting, like what would that like look like? Yeah.
Ooh, I could also write it out. I feel like I focused a lot on the visual aspect, and I felt like I wanted initially I wanted the work to speak for itself, but I also feel like it might be also nice to include like some words, because I feel like a lot of the things that are obvious to me may not be obvious to the person who's viewing the site.
Yeah, cause I remember with like Tumblr aesthetic or fandom blogs, like even those kind of mood board posts would be really popular. But I remember what made them even more valuable were like the little tiny descriptions. Like there'll be like really good writers who would like write like, for instance, like when you see a mood board of like like maybe an aesthetic cafe here or like aesthetic clothes, you don't know how it's all connected. The writing connects it all together. Like you put all those imagery in like one like essay, a few paragraphs, and it all makes like sense. Yeah, so I feel like it's a really important component to have. We want to like contextualize this.
I think that's a good step, especially since I feel like the artists are very limited. So, because
Yeah.
Bianca also like helped me with the website like design, and like how to implement the designs that I sort of did over Photoshop, like in Webflow, for those of you who may not know. So I feel like I could see like na the work that I need to do for like the website. It's like manageable, and it's so that I could really focus more on maybe the writing, if that's something that would really like tie it all together.
Mm-hmm. And when you're writing, since you're going for the YA target audience, like kind of write it in that aspect. Also, yeah, like why should I care about this character? Why should I relate to this? It reminds me about like, early internet people like would make fan fiction for everything. Like, internet browsers, people would like humanize, doesn't even ship them. It was funny, but it ended up making you humanize like internet browsers more. So I'm sure you can do the same for artistic personifications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking, do you think it would be a good idea? I was thinking of the website, instead of it being like a sort of like a wiki page, because I feel like a lot of character pages look like that. I was thinking of it as more of like a art. I wouldn't call it an artifact, but sort of like a treasure hunt. So when you go to a page, you could like press something, and then these like few lines would show up, and so it becomes like a really responsive like website. And
That would
yeah,
be interesting. Yeah, but I feel like since you're still learning Webflow, it might be a bit too hard
yeah,
for you
might
to
be too
execute.
advanced.
Just prioritize having something out instead of like looking for the perfect thing, because it will never be perfect. The way you develop your creation, just have it out and you keep iterating and iterating on it. Yes, reading these comments. I love seeing multi-dimensional experience. You can imagine the elements moving as someone. Yeah, I see this as like a new form of like a museum experience, right? So yeah, there are like VR and XR museums and stuff. But it's one thing to like see an exhibit in 3D, and another thing to like actually live through and meet the artist, right? So this would be like a cool way of doing that, a new kind of learning experience. Yeah, yeah. And I don't know, kind of connected to like the educational platforms like Z's as well. I wonder if like it's possible like to make modules or something out of this, because you're trying to spread art appreciation a bit more, right? Like what if you made like parang like little like story books or like booklets where they like get to know these characters. Yeah. I mean, I've been in like arts and design like since like high school, like a track where I feel like I haven't been able to learn enough like art history. Because it's not that prioritized.
I think that could be like that would I think that would be like the next step for this thing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Just
create,
throw
especially since all
ideas
the content is here.
out there. But yeah, if no one else has anything to share, I guess this pretty much wraps up our showcase. Wow. Thank you guys so much. I will message in Discord for like more flesh out like steps pa. But I guess where we could go from here, we just continue making. Yeah, and I feel like we can use the Discord as a way to keep each other accountable. And so, especially since many of us really want to get our projects out, especially for Lennon na my deadline pa. So having like a community to like constantly like talk to about, so that if you're creating alone would be like really valuable. Yeah, and on the support, and I'm honestly not sure how much we can help out yet, because to be honest, a lot of personal difficulties have been happening on the fast season lately. So it's we always see just me lang, which is like struggle, but the things we do, we still care. Just life happens, shit happens, but yeah, the fact that like I already see like a lot of like connections between your projects now, and like ways you guys could help each other, it makes me like so excited. Yeah, and yeah, that is pretty much it. Yes, I hope you all have a lovely night. I'm going to be posting like other fellows projects pa in the Discord channel, like Sina Rachel, for instance. Her connection was bad, and maybe like you guys could still give us like a sync feedback or just suggestions to each other as well. But yeah, I can't wait to see how everyone's projects develop from here. And even though it's technically the end, now we're always like still here to support. Like if ever you need like no code help or design help, you can like reach out to me, and I will like help you, like no questions asked. And I'm sure you guys all feel the same for each other as well, because we're all in this like together. We are all artists in a way. We're just trying to get our vision out into the world. So let's make it happen. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for learning. I honestly feel like super clutch. And a lot of like went wrong, but I'm glad you guys are able to find value out of it. Somewhat.
Thanks so much. Hope to stay connected and like support everyone in the process.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
guys. Please stay active on the Discord. Like, I'd love to like get updated on your projects. Yeah, but for now, have a good night, everyone. Rest well. Take care. Bye.